Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video, we are going to continue our conversation about the quadratic equation. And in this video, we are going to look at the new equation and we will see what method can we use to solve this equation. Before we come to the solution part, let's check a quick diamond puzzle. The reason we call the diamond puzzle, as you can see, this shape looks like a diamond, right? So this puzzle asks us, we are going to find a two number to put in the circle. And these two numbers, when we multiply them, A equals the top part. That's why we put M here. And when we add them, you will get a bottom number. That's why we put A here. So you can definitely pause the video to see if you figure out the puzzle by yourself. Or let's do this together. So first, I know 5 times 3 is 15, but when we add them, apparently we cannot get -8. So I'm going to stop here to say, oh, since this is a very close one, so I'm going to just change the sign. So -5 times -3, check. -5 plus -3, check. Next one, I'm gonna try, oh, this is 16, so I know 8 and 2 gave me 16, but I need a negative, so one of them must be negative. Let me try this one. -8 plus 2 is -6. -8 times 2 is -16. Works. Next, can be a little bit tricky, right? So let's try 4 times -5, because one of number must be negative in order to get -20, sorry. So I multiply them and then we add them. It's definitely not -8, right? So it's not working. So let me try the different one. So I know 10 times 2 also gave me 20, but one of them must be negative. So let me try -2. 10 plus -2, do I have -8? Not working. So, but I know it's very close. So now I know it's -10, 2, because -10 times 2, -20, -10 plus 2 is -8. As you can see, we cannot get a solution right away. Sometimes we just need to play with the numbers. But trust me, the more practice, the better you will be. So next, let's check the first equation we need to solve. The first equation says x squared minus 6 plus 5. As you can see, compared to the equation we worked before, now we have multiple terms. And the last term here is called constant term. The reason we call that, because this is a number and never change, we call constant term. So how do we solve this one? As we mentioned before, in this unit, we learned zero product property, which means we need to break down this equation to the two part equal to 0, so that will be easier for us to solve. Then how do we solve it? This one, we are going to use AM method. What does that mean? M stands for we multiply. A stands for add. But what are we doing with these two numbers? So very similar to the diamond puzzle. I'm going to find the two numbers. When you multiply them, you have 5. And when you add them, you have -6. Now you can pause here to see if you get the answer. But very soon you will realize this answer is -1 and -5. Now, we'll see how do I actually use these two numbers to help us factor. So I'm going to break down x squared as x times x, and the rest part I just put here, -5. Now, you may have more questions here. Why do I have to multiply to get 5, not -6? How come we know? How do we know this will work? So many questions, how do we answer them? Be patient. Once we finish this solution, we will come to explain why this factorization will work. Now, since we have two parts multiplied together equal to 0, according to zero product property, meaning each part can be 0. Oh, sorry, mistake here. So we have two parts multiplied to 0, so that means the first part can be 0 or the second part can be 0. And as you can see, we have two simple equations to solve. Just now, we can just quickly solve this. So I have the first solution, 1, and second solution as 5. So now I have two solutions. Come to here, you already see it. It's actually not hard. All we need to do is figure out the two numbers and help us to solve this equation. However, come back to original question we mentioned before. Why multiply to 5? Why this is going to work? So we're going to use distributive property or FOIL, if you remember that, to answer our question. The reason we can factor this, because I can multiply them back to prove you this is actually correct. We use FOIL or distributive property. So x times x, x squared, x times -5, -5x, -1x, and then -1, -5, plus 5. So while I do this process, you realize the last two numbers actually multiply, so to get 5, that's why the m coming from. And if we combine like terms here, you realize this is actually adding these two numbers to get -6x. And as you can see, this is exactly the original equation. So that's why this factor will work. That's how we use this kind of method to help us to find a solution. Okay, so in this video, we solved this equation. In next video, we are going to work on another two problems, very similar to this one. We're still going to use EM method to help us to figure out the solution. See you soon, everyone.